Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 6:11 a.m. and you are listening to Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It is June 21st, 2021, Monday. Good morning to all of you guys. We got things to talk about today, and then we're going to get into our interview. And I'm sure that you guys will like this interview. We were able to interview a friend of the show, and I think that you will find this interview very, let us say, artistic. All right, today, starting at 11 a.m., our wonderful state representatives, Barbara Hernandez, Stephanie Kifwood, and Keith Wheeler, are partnering with the Kane Senior Council and St. Athanasius Greek Orthodox Church, providing free frozen meals to seniors. This is a once-a-month initiative. The next dates will be July 12th, August 16th, and September 13th. Again, it's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. St. Athanasius is located at 1855 Fifth Avenue in Aurora, so come on out and share the information with any seniors who can benefit. Also, don't forget, the deadline for registration is June 21st for the Kane County Sheriff's Office one-day forklift driver certification class. OSH currently provides forklift driver and OSHA 10 training at the Kane County Jail. The card certification is good for 3 years. There's a registration fee of $25, which covers lunch. Shout outs to our friends of the Kane County Sheriff's Office. Also, Fox Valley United Way, very first Halloween Hustle 5K and 1 mile fun walk, a great fundraising event, the proceeds of which will ensure financial support for our children. The date will take place on October 17th at 9 a.m. at Phillips Park. Sponsorships are available and registration is required. There is a link for registration, which we've posted to our Facebook page and our different social media pages, so check that out and participate. They are a great organization. And last but not least, this Thursday, YWCA Girls Education Conference taking place from 8:30 to 10 a.m. It's going to be an online event co-hosted by the ACFEG group. The theme will be Evolving Learning Experiences in a COVID World. There is a helpful and suggested donation of $25. The YWCA has a simple mission: eliminating racism and empowering women. Shouts out to the YWCA. All right, and that is the news. All right, so good morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
All right, glad. I'm excited to do this. As I mentioned, I feel honored and obligated. I had I had this plan for a long time. I was always liking pics and your artwork and everything, and I kept telling myself, like, when the time is right, Elizabeth French is going to get her interview. Yeah. You gave us our very first gift, too, on the show.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
that was the first thing we ever got from anybody.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I thank you for being out there to get the gift.
So yeah, for our listeners and our viewers, those who are unfamiliar, let's start off. Let us know who you are and where you're from.
I'm Elizabeth French. Casually, I go by Liz. I was named after my great-grandma, Elizabeth, so that's professionally why I go by Elizabeth.
Okay.
I grew up in Downers Grove, Illinois, which is like 30 minutes east.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where I'm from. I lived there my whole life. My parents have lived in the same house my whole life.
Really?
So yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about hometown roots, yours are still planted, right?
Yeah, they're still there.
Okay. And you travel out here daily?
No, I live here.
Oh, you live here now. Okay.
Yeah, my partner and I live in downtown Aurora. Actually, we've been here for like 5-ish years.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, cool. Are there any similarities between the Downers Grove experience and Aurora?
Yeah, for sure. I actually feel like the community that I've found in Aurora feels actually more rooted than Downers. I think my family was sort of connected to things in the community through school.
Okay.
And stuff like that, but I wasn't as involved in downtown Downers in a lot of ways and the stuff that was going on there. So yeah, I really have enjoyed living in downtown Aurora for that reason.
I'm only familiar with Downers Grove just because there was a Grand Packers Comics there, I think, and like taking the train, you know, like the metro going through it. It's got a nice downtown.
Yeah, it's actually, when my parents first moved there, it was quite a bit smaller. It was the downtown, at least, was like kind of small. And yeah, it's gotten, there's like a lot more like condos and buildings and stuff like that, so it looks a little bit
It's coming
bigger.
up. Right. It ain't no Aurora, but they're getting there.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
All right. So from Downers Grove, did you go to high school, graduate high school in Downers Grove as well?
Yeah, I went to Downers Grove North.
Okay.
And it had a really good arts program. My visual art experience at Downers Grove North was it was great. It was amazing.
Have you always had art? Have you always had roots in art from school and everything like that? Stayed in it, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I ever remember. I don't remember ever starting to draw or paint. Like it just always felt like it was in my life. I always had a lot of sort of verbal support from people for art making throughout my life, which is incredible. And music. I was in choir my whole life as well.
Aha. Okay. Yeah. Choir. Now you mentioned before we started recording that you have a background in theater.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So choir. You play any instruments?
I did play the flute for a little bit.
Okay.
I was okay at it, but yeah, I think I just wanted to use my voice more, so it kind of went out.
I see. Is it hard being in choir?
No, I think it's where a lot more of my confidence came from, especially I was in a lot of women's choirs.
Okay.
So all women in high school and in college, and it's just a powerful feeling to find a sound with a group of women, especially like for me. Yeah, I think after I left college and I wasn't in choir anymore, I kind of took the experience for granted because it was an incredible feeling to create sound with people.
You've got an extrovert kind of personality, which is a little bit different from what I've seen of a lot of artists. I think a lot of artists typically tend to be introverted, and their art is what they project. But you don't seem to have that problem. You seem to be an extroverted artist and like out there and speaking and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a really intuitive question. I like that. Sorry, keep going.
No, yeah. I remember when you gave us the artwork, when I met you at Gremlin, you gave us artwork. Like, what was different about you, I think, was that you like reached out like, hey, here's my work. Boom, boom, boom. Check it out. What do you got? What do you think? And I'd like to donate these to the show. Yeah. Where typically, and even still now, I think the only other person who's reached out and like made an extroverted attempt to like talk to us, being an artist, is like one other artist. Other ones are like, I've inquired about their art and they withdraw. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to, I don't know if I want to show, right?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, is it okay if I...
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's funny because I feel like my extrovertedness isn't a natural thing. It's something I learned over time. I think as a young person, I found the greatest energy being by myself. And that makes sense for a visual artist, I think, because, your communication is visual. Your communication is sight. So, yeah, I think for me, I feel most comfortable in that, in it being sight to communicate like a feeling or emotion or expression.
Right.
But I think just throughout my life, I had to learn how to be extroverted.
Had to learn how to be extroverted.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like, it just helped in like a lot of different situations in my life, and it was a skill that I had to hone.
Right.
But it's not always natural, and sometimes I wish it wasn't required.
No, I feel you. Now, choir. Did you continue choir during or after high school?
Yes.
Okay.
So I went to North Central College in Naperville.
All right. North Central.
And I had a small scholarship for choir there.
Okay.
And that helped me out a little bit. And yeah, I was in women's choir the whole time.
Is North Central, is that the college that's like around in downtown? Kind of close to that place, Quigley's?
Yes.
Up the street from that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Quigley's, that little White Castle looking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there a number of times.
That place is cool.
It
On
is cool.
Jefferson Street?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you went to North Central College, graduate college. What came after college? What's life like for Elizabeth after college?
Yeah, so I originally was a visual art and education major, and I was going through education, and I was questioning why I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
Because I hadn't experienced what art was in life, and I didn't feel like I understood how to tell, like why to tell kids to pursue art.
If you don't understand it yourself.
If you don't understand it yourself, right, exactly. I didn't, it's not that I doubted that you should pursue art, but I didn't know why. So, yeah, so I switched my major to visual art and technical theater, because they had a new professor in the tech side, like the behind the scenes side of art.
Right.
And I'm a hands-on, I just love to get my hands in visual art,
Feel you.
and that was a side that I didn't know anything about. So I started painting sets, and I did a little design and did a couple sets in college. And then when I graduated from college, I worked freelance, and I did theater painting. So I worked for a company up in, what is the name of that town? It's in Chicago. Way far up by Evanston, not Ravenswood,
Lincolnshire?
Lincolnshire.
I think there's a Lincolnwood,
yeah,
Illinois.
yeah, Lincolnwood.
Okay.
And I did a bunch of like worked with a group of like 4 artists and painted some amazing sets. Like
theater painting.
So fun. Yeah, it's like dancing. I feel like theater painting is almost like a dance. And you just listen to music all day, and you're just like in this rhythm, and you have this big brush on a stick, and you're just painting these amazing things. And so I did that for like 4 months, and that was amazing. And then I actually worked for the Paramount in downtown Aurora for, I think it was like 3 or 4 months. They needed some extra painting help. So I painted for them for a little while, and that was amazing as well. And then I worked for a art restoration company that did like insurance claims. So if someone had a fire or a flood in their home, we would collect our artwork and clean it up for them as best we could, and insurance would kind of cover that cost.
Nice.
And then after that, I felt like I wanted to do something more in like an art therapy direction. I wanted to sort of incorporate my skills with the therapy that art gave me. So I worked, where did I work? I worked for a couple different places, but that's what got me into working with autistic children and adults.
Okay.
So for the past 3 years, I've worked with doing like one-on-one therapy for kids on the spectrum. And that was pivotal to me starting to make art again recently. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Growing up, what impact did your dad have in your life?
My dad? My dad is a incredibly loyal and kind person. He loves to garden. He's had just an office job his whole life, but I think in another life he would have loved to have been like a small organic farmer or something like that. And so I think he's sort of provided just a sense of kindness in my artwork, and he's always supported, like he always has said throughout my life, he's like, I just want you to pursue art. I just want you to, and even if like he didn't always know how to help me get to certain places, because there's really no roadmap for visual art.
No, there isn't.
And but he just encouraged it. He was like, I just want you to find it. So that's been incredible throughout my life.
All right. So you work for the Paramount, art therapy. But I want to know about freelancing and being a freelance artist. What is that like? And for those who are unfamiliar, because I think there's still a perception that, you know, when you see art, I think that people think when they see art and there's an artist, you got to have it all together, right? You're not freelancing. You are a commissioned person. They're paying you for that. You're making big bucks and good money and all that kind of stuff. Is that true? What's freelancing like? What is that?
I don't know if that's true. I feel like freelancing is tough. It's more of a, from my experience, this might not be everyone's experience, but from my experience, freelance requires more of almost like a nomadic lifestyle. You know, you got to be ready for things, and you got to just take opportunities when they come to you. And you're never going to regret, I don't think, the experiences you have when you do it, because I met amazing people, and I just like would never take that back. But like living more of a nomadic lifestyle is not easy on your body, and it can be hard. So like, yeah, you gotta be willing to go for it.
You gotta be down.
You gotta be down.
You gotta be down. Yeah.
For sure.
I understand. So I asked that question with the knowledge of what it means to be freelancing, but I wanted people to see and hear you say that, because you are an actual in the blood bred doing this like daily artist.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things a lot of people do is they give up when it gets tough.
Yeah.
Because they think that an opportunity should have come by now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, why is nobody buying my pieces? Why is nobody? But you got to be like, you got to forget all that. You got to be dedicated.
Yeah, you got to be dedicated.
Yeah.
You got to just want it, and it's got to be part of your being.
Right.
You know? It's got to be just.
If that means going to Elgin, that means going to Elgin. If it means being in Yorkville, then
yeah.
you got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's true.
All right. So now let's talk about Elizabeth French art. How did Elizabeth French art start? When did you put the pieces to being, or to rather becoming a businesswoman with the art and everything like that, if that's a fair statement? Yeah,
for sure. So if you look at my Instagram story, it really started. So right at the beginning of COVID, I was furloughed from my job, and I was moving at a really fast sort of mental pace.
What was your job?
I was working in ABA therapy with autistic children, so one-on-one therapy. And I was moving at this like really, really fast pace, and then I got furloughed, and I needed to slow down in a healthy way so that I could reflect and sort of process what was happening in my actual life and in the world and all these things. And that's always been art, you know, like that's always been art is my way to sort of slow down.
Right.
But because I was kind of mentally working really fast, I was making like an illustration a day. I was just like boom, boom, boom. And so if you look back at my Instagram account, the whole thing is chronological over the entire year. So everything you see is basically what was happening in my life in the present. And yeah, so I started with these illustrations, and then I mostly for friends and family, like I was just not seeing anybody, so I needed to I wanted to share my perspectives and music I was listening to at the time, and all of these things. So they're almost like little narratives, and I got a lot of positive feedback, and I just kind of kept going from there, and it sort of evolved into the Senses series is something I started kind of in the midst of that as well. I had already started that series, but I hadn't finished it. Okay. So it was really the core of my art making, because it's all stippled. It's a type of drawing that's called, it's similar to automatic drawing, where it's very intuitive. You don't know what you're going to make, but you're just kind of going with it. And it's a really important process, I think, for a lot of artists to sort of allow their mind to wander. So then the Senses series happened, and then after that, I wanted to be accountable to something for a long period of time. So my monthly series, which is dedicated to nature, and then the Aurora series kind of happened alongside each other. And that wasn't planned. It kind of just happened, but they're not they're not unrelated, you know, nature and community. Like they do work alongside of each other. So that was kind of a happy accident.
Okay. So you started creating series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Now, I'm friends with you on Instagram and everything, and I do have a couple of specific questions about some elements that I've seen in your work and things like that. But what is your style, or do you even have one?
Yeah, I think in high school I started stippling, which is just dots.
Right.
It's dots over and over and over, and that was what I did mostly in high school. And I had an incredible art teacher. And then in college, you know, you start learning about art history, you start learning about sort of the expanse of visual art, and I kind of got away from it because I was like, I don't know if people are going to be interested in like the
got away from stippling.
Yeah,
okay.
Got away from stippling. I didn't really stipple that much, and I experimented with other means, and I was getting into the theater stuff, so
right.
I got away from it. And then I started working with autistic people again, and so the first piece I made in the census series is called stimming, and stimming is any sort of repetitive thing, and it's a form of self-expression a lot of times with autistic people. And I was just it was like this breath of fresh air. I was like, I know that from high school, I feel that. And so I made that piece and I got back into it again. So I think it's really the core of the art that I make is in stippling. Anything cumulative. And I think as I continue to evolve, I may paint more, I may do other, I'm open to all these practices, but there's something about additive art that I don't think I'll ever lose. I feel connected to it.
Interesting. Okay. Because from your style was unique to me. I like it very much. So that's it's interesting to hear that and its beginnings and everything, because I don't see anybody else that creates like you do. Of course, right?
Yeah,
it's very unique.
Yeah. Thank you.
So now, what is your process when you are drawing or creating? I mean, do you have a room that you go to? Do you put on classical music?
Yeah.
Do you need the lights off? Like, what's your thing?
Process,
Yeah.
environment. Yeah, I just have I like to have a lot of things going kind of while I'm creating, whether that's music or film.
Okay.
Or just being outside. I like to be taking in information a lot of times. I don't usually I have worked in silence, but I like to have these other perspectives and means sort of around me. So I just have a little desk, and I like natural light. I don't usually like to have a lot of other lights on.
Okay.
And yeah, I just sit at my desk and I create. And it's kind of fluid. I don't really have like a specific time of day that I like to create. I do need to be in a positive place in my mind in order to really be able to create the way I like to create.
What do you mean by that?
So, like, if I'm out and about, I've been really social, I'm sort of using that extrovertedness that we were talking about earlier, and I don't feel as connected to myself, it's harder for me to make stuff. Like, I have to sort of find, like, this quietness in my mind, almost how I liked to feel when I was a child, when I was young, kind of doing things on my own, and then I feel like I can really make what I want to make. So yeah.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I draw as well, and I don't draw as much as I used to. I unfortunately kind of like Hook, right? Like, remember Peter Pan?
Yeah.
Right? Like, they had to get the dust to like stay with the youthful and all that. Like, don't grow up. Like, my dust kind of like, I missed the dust a little bit, so I started just working, right?
Yeah.
And drawing less and less, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But like, even now though, when I do the show, I try to draw a little bit more. Like, I get it. Like, for me to actually be like effective and like in my element. It's kind of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Like I can't be me out and about hanging. Like that's not Good Morning Aurora, Kurt, right? Like that's just me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But like when I'm withdrawn, myself, alone, then I can be mentally and emotionally where I need to be to like create and engage. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I do get it. And I think that's a problem with being an artist.
It's hard because I think and it makes sense because if you're someone who gives a lot to other people, like with Good Morning Aurora, you're talking to other people, you're trying to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Understand and everything, like you're giving a lot, you're giving your energy away. So like when you're creating, you have to have energy.
Yeah.
You have to have.
You got to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now I've seen, now you mentioned that nature, let me get this correct. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
It was, nature was synonymous with life. What was it that you said? I might have messed that up.
With the Aurora series.
Yes, that's right.
With those longs. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen frogs in your work. A couple butterflies, I think. You got a favorite animal?
Favorite? I don't know if I have a favorite animal.
Because I can't tell. I usually try to tell like about.
What's their favorite?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. If I see something keep coming up, right?
Yeah.
Like okay, she must like tigers or something like that. But I don't. You know, yours is a little bit different. I see some faces, animals.
Yeah, I think it's just things that are striking. Like I think I draw a lot of like amphibians and insects because their colors are so vibrant. And it's more fun to draw, to be honest. Like, it's just fun to see something that's striking or maybe something that you don't see a lot all over the place and turn it into something that is maybe a little odd, you know, maybe a little like, oh, I don't like, what is she saying there? And, you know, or what do I see in it, you know, like, so I don't know if I have a favorite animal necessarily. I think over time, different insects or amphibians or animals like have symbolized different things as well. And I'm not super conscious of that necessarily when I pick stuff, but I don't know. I just look at a lot of nature photography. I like to look at it and kind of pick up on things with it.
Okay. Now, the Census series came first.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any of your old work when stippling? And do you look at it now and do you see the progression in your own skill? Like, I mean, you mentioned that you've been doing this since 8th grade. So I'm sure you've definitely matured in your style since then. But, you know, going back to the original Instagram stuff you started posting at the beginning of COVID, have you seen a progression in your work since then?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have posted a few of the stuff I did like in high school early on Instagram. Like a few of those early illustrations are like from a long time ago.
Okay.
So they were already made. So I'm trying to think which ones I have up there. But they have definitely evolved. I think a lot of the stuff that I made in high school, I was really interested in like faces and wrinkles and like how skin looked.
Okay.
And I did a lot, and then film, like I have like this Beauty and the Beast stippled one that's kind of that's kind of it just playing around technically with texture. I think I was just really interested in textures when I was young.
Right.
I like to draw things that I thought I expressed like a realism. So I think over time, I think my work has become much more symbolic over time and less, it's still very technical, but, because that's what I love. I love being technical with my artwork. More of like a craft, like a craftsman. But it has taken on more meaning. I think as my world has just gotten bigger, you know, as you start to understand the world in a larger way, that's kind of like, I think, how it's evolved.
Okay, yeah. So the progression is both internal and external.
Yeah.
In a way.
So my childhood self was kind of like in a little little focused world, you know.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. All right. And so like any good artist, you have your portfolio with you.
I got a piece here.
Let's take a, we can check out what you got.
Yeah, I just have this
See
one.
what's happening.
This is for you, actually. I brought...
Oh, you did it again?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, this isn't my full portfolio. I just didn't want it to get
Sure.
scratched or anything.
Sure.
But this is for you. I wanted to bring one of the Aurora series for you, so,
Okay.
so I brought that one.
Let me see here. I want to see it, just a tad bit of it. We got iced coffee and we got blended white mochas in the studio too, so we are completely chilling.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. If you could, and if it's not gonna, just hold up just a tad bit so I can zoom in and see what we got. Oh man, I like that.
Yeah. This
I
is,
like that.
Part of the Aurora series, so I had to bring this one. You got a little of that stippling in there.
I see. So I like the colors in it, very much so. And I like it has a loud, boisterous nature to it too. Ding, 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 you know, like sounding the alarm kind of thing.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you look on my Instagram, there's a little bit of music paired with it. It tells, like, I think a little narrative. But you kind of got to you got to take a deep dive into my Instagram to find it.
You got a great Instagram too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah. I have been I've been a fan and a follower of your Instagram since the very beginning.
Yeah.
At least for me, getting to know you and your artwork and everything.
I think that's how I view Instagram. If it's anything to me, it's just a virtual gallery. I hope people view it as they would going to a museum and looking at art.
So you know something, I'll tell you. That's what I actually love about Instagram. I love that. I love that it is a gallery. Like you can see, yeah, that's the cool thing about it for me. You know, that's why I've never been too big on the social media, like, you know, Snapchat and all, it disappears. Like I want it to stay to see that. You know what I'm saying?
The permanent side of it. It doesn't need to be fast.
Right.
It's just like, this is what's here. This is a story to see.
I like that it's more visual than, you know, people do write long captions and stuff, but but that's okay. I'm there for the artwork and everything.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope it's coming across.
All right. Now, speaking of which, how can people find your art? What is your Instagram handle?
Yeah, my Instagram handle is @ElizabethFrenchArt. Okay. That's the one I use the most for sure. I do have Facebook as well, but it's not set up as business-like. I do post somewhat often though, so if you want to hear something that I'm doing, I'll put it on there. Okay. And it's the same name, Elizabeth French Art on Facebook? Elizabeth French Art is also on Facebook. Okay. And then my website is elizabeth-french.com. So you can definitely see all the series a little more organized there. And you can see my artist statement as well. Okay. All right. Now, currently your art is in Tredwell. Yes. The Aurora series is in Tredwell. And I have prints for sale at Cottonseed Creative Exchange. So if you see something you like in the Aurora series and you want to buy a print, head over there. And then I have business cards there too if you want to reach out to me like individually. But okay, how'd you get your art into Tredwell? Tell us about that. Because first there was no art, and then I go in there one day, and bam, I'm like, yo, I know that style. I know, yo, I seen that. Yeah. I'm at the counter getting my coffee, and like your cards are right next to mine. I'm like, what in the world? Yeah, it's just shout outs. I honestly couldn't have made the Aurora series without the people that live here. Okay. It wouldn't have happened. Right. Like I think I realized through the process like how powerless I am by myself. Like I wanted to create a series of artwork that I couldn't have made alone. And so that's how I got it at Tredwell. They just shouted it out and they said, hey, we want to put up a series and I just would love people to see it. So I couldn't do it without the people there, you know, good people. Now, was that your first time having your art in a like physical location downtown as opposed to a pop-up or something like that? Yeah, that's the first one for the original artwork. I had the Aurora series at Cottonseed Creative Exchange. I think it was April was when they kind of highlighted my stuff. Okay. And then, so I just kept the rest of the prints there after that month. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, this interview was actually, as I mentioned, it's cool because I've seen your stuff more now after meeting you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. After you gave me those prints, like now, like, yeah, you're at Cotton-C, at Tredwell, like you're at all the places I go to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think that's cool though. Okay. I think that's cool though. Yeah. I don't like stuffy, right? I don't like blah. Mm-hmm. Like I like dynamic, cool, new stuff. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, what do you think the art world, not just in Aurora here, but what do you think the art world needs more of?
I think it needs visual artists I think so many visual artists just want to exist with other people locally. And it's where you find the most inspiration. And like, I think if anything, having local artwork or just art in general, whatever speaks to you in your home on a daily basis is such a powerful way to remember sort of the privilege of sight if you have it. So I think it's for everybody. Like having visual art is not just for these upper echelons of whatever. Like it's for everybody, and everyone like can look at visual art critically. And I think that's why I've just so appreciated having stuff up in downtown Aurora, because I just hope that anyone wants to have it around to look at. And it doesn't have to be my art. Like you go to Cotton-C Creative Exchange and there's like 6 artists there.
Right.
Visual artists that have incredible artwork, and if it speaks to you, like put it in your house, put it on your wall, and look at it daily.
Yeah.
You know, it's important.
All right, so next question. Well, you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of a wraparound for that. Okay. Now, who's your mentor? You have any mentors along the way?
Yeah, I think it's just the sort of my family that is like my friends who have become my family.
Okay.
So my partner Drew is just an incredible support system. He is so educated in art history and music and film and all these things, so I've just learned so much from him. And then a couple other friends. Christian Minus, he's got some music out there, so anyone can listen to his stuff.
Okay.
He's got incredible music. He's just an incredible person. I learned so much about the LGBTQ plus community from him, which has been so amazing. And then my friend Nick Hayes as well. Especially this past year, we just found so much community and love in each other while we were sort of processing the world and everything, and it's influenced my work, and it's helped me be a better communicator and just a better person in general. So, yeah.
Nick Hayes?
Nick Hayes. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So what's next? What's next for Elizabeth French and Elizabeth French art? I mean, what's the future hold?
Yeah. So I am painting one of the utility boxes in downtown Aurora.
Okay.
In August, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's when they're going to do them again. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll be out. I think I'm painting the one that's right outside the Aurora Public Library, across the street from the coffee shop there. So I'll be out there through August painting that.
Okay.
That's sort of my first step into doing public art like that. And then I'm also doing the art festival in August 28th, I think, is the outdoor art fest in downtown Aurora. So I'll be selling prints. I have 2 months left in my monthly series to have done that for a whole year.
Aha.
I think August. Yeah, so I'll be done by the time I do that outdoor fest, and I'll have prints there for the monthly series if you like anything, and you can come buy some. So.
Word up. Y'all heard it here. That's breaking news, y'all. It's breaking news. All right. What's the biggest impact COVID had on your life?
I think it just rooted me. I think it just rooted me to the core of myself, and it made me question, what parts of yourself do you never want to take for granted, or do you never want to lose? And yeah, just brought me back to my roots, and reminded me of all the people that remind me of my roots and want me to stay connected to it. Yeah, definitely.
You mentioned earlier that art therapy and working with youngsters and adults on the spectrum brought you back into art.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that specifically? You were leaving art? You were getting done with art? You were tired of art? What do you mean?
No, I don't think I was tired of it. I just didn't see it as having a place in my life. I didn't know how I was going to use it or why I needed it.
Okay.
I thought that I should just be helping people. Like, you know, I just should be out there helping other people. And I didn't realize that by not giving myself that energy, I can't help people as much as I could if I lose that part of myself. So yeah, and it was mostly because I worked with a woman in Naperville when I worked with adults on the spectrum that just like, I don't know if you've heard the term harm reduction, but she just understood that intuitively, and she was rooted in it, and I learned so much from her. And I think so many autistic children and adults experience harm on a daily basis. And understanding her process, like she didn't need the term harm reduction because she just lived it. And I'm so grateful for that because I think I harmed less kids that way. Like I was able to really connect and be connected to kids. And then I worked with a few kids that were just incredible artists, visual artists.
Right.
A few who didn't have verbal communication, but because they were so sort of focused in, we could communicate visually, and we could sort of build a trust that way.
Right.
And yeah, it's like, why would I ever lose something that roots me in that way? Because I can connect and communicate through other forms other than verbally. Like you can communicate with your sight, you can communicate with smell, with taste, with touch, with all these things. Yeah, I don't want to lose that ever, I don't think.
What would you be without art?
I don't know. I think, like I said, I've never not had it in my life. I don't remember a beginning.
That's why I wrote that down when you said that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I couldn't fathom you not in an art world. So when you said that, that was like a flag went up. Like, wow, Elizabeth French at one point in time considered not
doing it.
being
Yeah,
an artist.
for sure.
It's crazy.
It's just hard. This world is hard. So
it is. Oh, certainly.
Right. So I was like, I don't know. I guess I took it for granted. I think I really did take it for granted, and I think, yeah, I don't know exactly who I would be without it. I don't know if I ever want to find out.
Yeah, right.
I think I tried, and I just kept being pushed back into it. And it's like, you can't, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I have to. It's got to be part of my life in some way, shape, or form, because it helps me connect with people in an authentic way. And maybe that's what I want the most. Like, just to connect to people authentically, you have to be able to share the parts of yourself you love the most,
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with America?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a big question. I think it's just disconnecting from, like I said, from roots, disconnecting from your physical self. I think you can get lost sort of mentally in, and I don't know if it's something about being in almost like a survival mode or going too fast or speeding up in different ways or disconnecting from yourself, but we can't, I think finding your roots and feeling connected to your physical self is so healing. And I don't know what all the answers are, but it's not something that we should lose. So yeah, I think that's what I've learned.
That's interesting. So the 28th of August you will be painting the utility boxes. That's the art festival in Aurora time frame as well. Okay. Is your art going to stay in Tredwell, or will you be in new locations with it? It's still going to be on display at Cottonseed and Tredwell for some time. And that's where folks can find your stuff. Prints will be for sale on the 28th as well.
Yep.
Right.
August 28th.
Okay. So after you finish the monthly series, what comes after that? Because you got 2 more, right?
Yeah, I got 2 more in the monthly series. Yeah, I'm trying to remain open. I've sort of committed myself to these 2 sort of series for a year to learn and grow and all these things. And I would eventually like to evolve the Senses series over time.
Okay.
And I have a few sort of larger paintings I'm working on. I've done a little bit of commission work. I appreciate the people who have asked for commission work, because sometimes if I've been in my world for a long time, having another person's idea or painting something or drawing something that someone else loves is very inspirational. So if anyone needs a commission, I do like that, doing those occasionally and kind of having someone else's mind to sort of explore, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, absolutely.
Trust me. Yeah. It's all I do. I am living different lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much beauty in that. Like, it's amazing to see. So yeah, I have those 2 things coming up, and then yeah, we'll see where fall takes me from there. But
your profile pic on your Instagram is a self-portrait. How when did you draw that? When did you create that?
That was in high school, actually. I did that a long time ago. And it is stippled, but it's with my signature. So I sort of stippled my signature over and over and over and did a self-portrait.
Huh.
So you can't really tell that from the picture. You'd have to like really.
That makes it cooler now.
But yeah.
It was already cool before. But
I thought it was really deep in high school. I was like,
no, it's mad deep. Yeah, I like it. I like it. It looks. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I did that one a long time ago.
All right. How can we, the community, help you?
I think, like I said, just like, I appreciate the reaching out. I don't know, like shout outs for local artists has really helped me. Just engagement with visual artists.
Want to come on the live news someday?
Yeah.
In the morning time?
For sure.
All right, yeah, word up. We're going to put that on the calendar for that. Yeah.
I appreciate that you think I'm introverted or extroverted.
No, you are. You are. Even if you don't think so, you are. Trust me.
Thank you.
So here's the thing. You know, we're adults, so we'll talk turkey right now. A lot of people who have listened to or watched Good Morning Aurora, whatever the case may be, or you know, even going back to like, because when you met me was that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the show has changed from then. We weren't doing videos then. It was only audio. I don't think a lot of people like know who I am or what I look like, right? So I wouldn't call it discrimination, but I don't meet a lot of people. Let me start over. I think a lot of people are shocked that like I'm me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I've met people, I set up an interview or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're going to come on the show or whatever, and like when they see me open the door, they're like whatever, or they think they're in the wrong place or whatever the case may be. And like you like weren't like that. Like you were trying you know, your focus and your everything was like the art, getting to know me, and like, yo, you know, I like the show and everything like that. Boom, you know, I want to see what you think about this. If you want, like, that was cool and it was refreshing.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, like this is a whole different aspect of myself and everything.
Yeah.
So when people, you know, when I'm trying to get to know somebody, And in my trying to get to know them and highlight them and shout out them and showcase them and display them, if they are like freaked out, or whatever the case may be, or like reserved or reluctant now, it makes me question the dedication to what they're doing. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because I don't care if I had to meet the devil. Like, I am going to get this in. Like, nothing is going to stop me. Kind of like you said about being a nomad, being a freelancer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if I got to go to Skokie, Schaumburg, ride a train, or eat glass. I am going to get what I want and what I want to present done. And that's the kind of energy you got. You know what I'm saying? And that was really cool. Like, that was really, like, you did not break stride. You had your work, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And it just goes, it's just a human insight.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the beauty of having some form of expression. Like you said, you could just feel that energy in somebody else.
Yep, exactly.
You
like,
know?
that's what you
like,
got.
I'm
Like,
just out here doing it.
you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you will not be stopped. And like, that's what I like. You know what I'm saying? And it's been an interesting ride doing this. And the ups and downs, strangely, of doing this show have been less with like technical glitches and all that kind of stuff. I've had some issues with the camera don't work, blah, blah, blah. The lights went out. But like, the roller coaster of humans has been far more like...
Than the technical side of it. Yeah.
I swear. Like, it has been, when I write the book, it'll be just all about like dealing with humans.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's been the craziest part of this whole thing.
Yep. I don't doubt it.
So we're coming up on the weekend. What you got planned for the weekend?
My sister's gonna be coming to town. I haven't seen her in over a year. Her and her family moved down to Texas when COVID started. So they weren't able to meet a lot of people while they were down there. And
moving to Texas when everybody's locking in. That's talk about luck.
Right. And I haven't seen her in a long time, and I'm really close with my sister, and I was around when her kids were young a lot.
Yeah.
And I was with them a lot, so not seeing them is weird and hard. So I'm gonna see her this weekend. So
it's good. Good. Awesome. All right. So the show ends on a positive note. What is your message today to the people of Aurora?
Express yourself. I think, especially with Pride Month this month, like, there's just so much beauty to be seen if you pay attention to it. So just learn about it, and or if you're already part of it, express it. So any form of expression you have, whatever senses you have, just do it. Yeah.
Words of wisdom from our dear friend Elizabeth French, who gave Good Morning Aurora the very first piece of anything as a gift.
Yeah.
Way, way, way back when I went from the bathroom to an actual recording studio.
Yeah.
Yep, much appreciated.
Yeah.
All of you wonderful people, Instagram at Elizabeth French Art, Facebook Elizabeth French Art, and the website elizabeth-french.com.
Yes.
Yep. We appreciate Elizabeth's time coming in here. You guys, don't forget to subscribe to the show and check out our dear friend's artwork, August 28th, painting a utility box and also doing commission work for you guys. Shout out.
And then the art festival, yeah.
That's right, and the art festival. All right, all have a good, wonderful day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for another great episode. Peace.